Hi there, folks. My name's NovaWing24, and welcome to Renton Municipal Airport in the beautiful state of Washington. All right, folks. So this is going to be my review, my first impressions, and my review of the latest released from Dziewiecki Designs for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So as we head down the runway here, as we get this review started, we're going to say a huge thank you to Dziewiecki Designs and to Orbx Systems for providing the review copy of this add-on today to bring to you. And we're going to be going through, we're going to be having a look at what for me is possibly one of the coolest and greatest airport releases for this sim for a number of different reasons. We're going to have a look at some of its special cool features, and then we're going to go for a circuit around the airfield as well. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get started here. We're going to get started down the GA end, which is, well, this is primarily a GA airport. However, as we can see though, there is quite a bit of heavy metal at this airport. And that has to do with the fact that just on the other side of this airfield, on some reclaimed land here, is the Boeing Factory, where all 737 Maxes and before them 707s and a number of other Boeing aircraft will began their lives. So although this is primarily a GA airport, as I said, it does have a lot of heavy metal departing this flight and occasionally arriving as well. But let's get started at this end of the airport here on the waterway here by showcasing what is one of the kind of cool things that I really like about this add-on here, which is the release of this as the model just pops in there because I was just panning the camera too fast. Is the fact that the Renton Municipal not only does it provide services to fixed gear aircraft or wheeled aircraft, it also provides services by that most famous of air services for the Microsoft Flight Simulator family of sims, Kenmore Air, with the operations of amphibious operations here as well. So this services much of the Pacific Northwest and up into Canada as well, and as a result this airport is fully supportive of international arrivals and complete with Customs and Border Protection officers here for international arrivals and departures as well. So keeping here, and this already sort of showcases some of the detail that Dziewiecki Design's put on here. And let's be honest, Dziewiecki Design is known for putting a lot of exquisite detail into their releases, and this is definitely no exception for here. Because not only do we have the pontoon for being able to alight from your amphibious aircraft, there's also the ramp that allows you to transition smoothly from water onto the land side with your amphibious aircraft. Now, as we move along the taxiway here, so we can see that this is the U.S. Customs and Border Protection hut and their office here, and that's the camera's going a bit fast here, and this has been done in a beautiful detail. And again, we've got it's one of the things that I'm really liking about this release is the fact that Dziewiecki Design doesn't just put sort of he doesn't put add stuff in here and detritus things airside without purpose. We actually have the animated images of a Cessna here with ground crew with a pilot in there. We assume that they are practicing and learning what all the marshalling signals may mean as well. As well as that, we've got a number of AI objects. Sort of, we've got some fixed objects, and we've got support for the generic Asobo AI traffic as well, with a number of the spawning points and a couple of different variations of Kenmore aircraft available to us as well. So as we go past this the Kenmore Air area, we move further along the GA lines. Now, of course, the GA, as I said, this is primarily a GA airport, though we do know it for the heavy metal. So there's a number of different GA operations coming through here. A number of flight schools and air taxi services are all hosted here. Now, as we slide along here, we come up onto our first batch of heavy metal, which goes through, and of course, as I said, we've got the construction, we've got the factory on the other side, but the aircraft come over to this side of the airport to actually go through and actually get their final fit outs. I do want to point out though that you've seen a couple of sort of trees poking through the runway, and that is one of the few negatives I do see with this airport, is that I think the masking and the sort of the blocker that prevents the default trees appearing, that possibly needs a bit of improvement, but still, I mean, we've got the beautiful detail here of a partially impeded 737 here being inspected by various Boeing employees as they supervise and check out to make sure that this particular MAX hopefully won't be falling out of the sky anytime soon. We've got some runway, got some airport lighting here as well. Now we move on to move on to this side. So this next set of the GA operations here. Now this one is particularly important for Microsoft Flight Simulator because this is the home of Rainier Flight Services here, which was actually the home and the location of the Microsoft Flight Simulator preview event. So this was the hangar. This was the very hangar that many of us got our chance to. We were very blessed, very fortunate to get our first hands-on experience with Microsoft Flight Simulator back all those back in 2019. Now, wow, how far the world and this sim has come since those days. So it's really wonderful to actually see this particular area actually sort of brought to life now. And I'll be honest, I'm really surprised that it took. That it was Drzewiecki Designs that had to bring this to life. I was genuinely expecting that this would have been an airport that would have been released as part of the core sim, given its importance with its relation to how the sim first got previewed. Or as we move along here, we've got yet another Boeing bay with another couple of aircraft here. We've got another partially finished 737 there, another Southwest one, and then continuing on with more sort of Boeing material here. And I do want to point out that having been here to this airport and actually sort of flown out of this airport, done circuits here, that seeing all this is actually really, really exciting because this is exactly this is just like how I remembered. I remember seeing the little forklifts, the little skyjacks here with the Boeing logos on them. I remember seeing aircraft actually being fitted out. So it is really cool to actually be able to sort of see an airport that is one that I know and actually go, yep, no, these are details that I absolutely 100% remember seeing, and it's just so cool to bring them back to life. And this is something again that I think that this simulator as a whole really excels at. Now, all flight simulators do good jobs of it, but I think this sim really does an incredible job of allowing us to relive and recreate, but also explore areas of the world that maybe we haven't had a chance to visit in real life. Now, of course, we've got the fuel farm here as well, which is, of course, very important to aviation operations, with a variety of trucks where your AI truck, if you do call your fuel truck to come out to your aircraft, it will come from the fuel farm. So again, nice little touch, and again, that little attention to detail from Drzewiecki Design to make sure that, the fuel truck doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It actually does come from the fuel farm to head out to your aircraft. Or as we head further along here, now we're here to the control tower, because this airport is, of course, has full towered operations. It isn't sort of just a CTAF frequency airport. This is a fully towered airport with full operations. Now, one of the things that you might have noticed that as we've been sort of plying our way along this side of the airport, is that you may have noticed that the soundscapes have been changing as we've gone further along it, and that again is one of the things that I want to highlight. And there's no better example of what I'm about to show you of that one as well, because that's the level of detail that Drzewiecki Design has gone through here. Is that each different area of the airport and the surrounding areas have different sounds associated with them as well. And to showcase how well this goes, the tower really does a really good job of this. So let's jump inside the tower and have a listen for just a second. So as we arrive in the tower here, the soundscape changes to actual recordings, of air traffic control doing their job. So you can actually sort of hear. Now, it's not live, so it's not linked to your live sim traffic or anything like that. We're not quite there yet when it comes to airport operations, to scenery or development operations. But, this is still cool. The fact that, we've got live screens, we've got traffic screens. Airport, we got an actual, sort of airport diagrams here for this airport, all brought up on the screens here, and we've got the sound set playing through here. I know a lot of us may not get here too much, but this is something that's really cool because it shows the level of depth and development of Dziewiecki Design. As we not only do we, especially with Microsoft Flight Simulator, not only are we flying our aircraft in the sim, but we are also now, doing things. We're being surrogate drone pilots as well as we tour our drone cams around our different sceneries and options as well. I also love there's a few other sort of Easter eggs in here as well, like the aircraft latte art there of the coffee and the Dziewiecki Design mug. And of course, being a Polish developer, the fact that we've got a scattering of different Polish aircraft that make appearances throughout the scenery. We saw that earlier with the Buzz aircraft, and we got a beautiful Lot 787 model there as well. So I did kind of want to show this off because it is a really cool little feature to actually sort of say that, this shows the development and the growth of Dziewiecki Design as a developer, of all these little attentions to detail that he's playing here as well. And of course, we've got a couple of people happily getting their coffee, getting their lunch ready up here in the tower. All right, well, let's continue on with our journey out onto flight line as we duck back out the ATCU windows there. Continuing down, we've got more flight operations here as well with Northwest Seaplanes there. And again, it's just this beautiful attention to detail. All these buildings, custom handcrafted, custom modeled as the airport is laid out here in 2022. With all the various different companies that are resident here, all provided to us in a beautiful detail as well. Also to show off as well is that Dziewiecki Design has made, although we've got some areas that do have full interior modeling, like we saw with the tower there, but other parts, including other parts of the tower and this hangar building, for example, as well. Dziewiecki Design has invested heavily now into the parallax form of displaying building interiors, which of course is a huge frame rate saver for developers and for users as well. Of being able to bring scenery to life, to still give that impression of, this is a real life building, that actually has, things going on inside of it, but it doesn't have to kill a lot of polys to do it. And of course, that's one of the things that Dziewiecki Design scenery is sadly also known for, is the fact that their sceneries can be rather heavy on frame rates, but at least my experience so far has been that this one's probably has to be the lightest impact on frames for any Dziewiecki product that I have ever actually installed, and that's across all sims. So again, it's that great thing to show off the developer. As a developer, Dziewiecki Design as a developer is learning, is growing, and applying new technologies and new skills and new ideas to be able to deliver us all as the flight simulation public, be able to deliver us great new content. And we've see here another Boeing engineer, Boeing employee, hard at work, doing some work on the side of that Boeing there after doing some work on an engine earlier. Or as we continue along here, as we cross the threshold of runway 34, and we go across onto the GA side, we can see some more heavy metal over on the side there. As I said, this is primarily a GA field, but again, has of course the Boeing fit out side of things. And again, as I was saying before, like this is the place, this is the start of the journey of pretty much every 737, as before they get on to their their final delivery flights and beyond, and from there beyond into the welcoming arms of, or rather our butts as we sit into their seats and as they enter service around the world. And again, just going through here, seeing the Ace Aviation's very obvious bright red hangar being displayed there, and we've got the another Boeing fit-out plant here in pretty impressive detail. And as I said, like I was saying, I said just before, like I am really surprised at how efficient that this modeling and how little impact that I'm having on the on-frame experience here. I know that may not be the case for all. I know, speaking with my fellow Grumpy Simmer Belgeode, he did notice some frame impacts as well. He noticed some frame impacts on his experience on VR. So I guess, as always, the thing has to be said. Your mileage may vary, but for me, this has been a really great experience. Now we've got the nearby American football field covered here, and okay, so. And I'm loving finding all these little Easter eggs throughout here. This is cool. Apparently, the home team is the Dzzewiecki team. Apparently, that is perfect. So great to see that as well. Nice and detailed. But again, not overly detailed that it's going to cost a lot of polish or anything like that. But when you're going to be able to see it from the air, you're going to see that you're going to see the stadium from there and be able to see it illuminated at night. We carry on across. We've got the airport fire service here with Boeing's fire vehicles here as we continue on with another fit out area. We've got a lot 737 MAX here getting its further fit outs. Some more airlines, and again, it's just that nice, consistent detail. And it's not like it's, and we were seeing, there was a Boeing guy looking at something before. It's not like it's the same models being used all the time. They're being sort of shuffled around and giving us a couple of different options to be able to see with different tasks that are, of course, essential to keeping aircraft safe and getting them into the air. So it's really cool seeing these aircraft in different stages of completion, and sort of just that little part of bringing aircraft and bringing the scenery to life, because it's all well and good to have the airport sort of taxiways and everything and laid out correctly, but airports aren't dead, and there is such an important part of the living world scenario of this. And again, as we go across the car park here for I'm guessing the freight terminal, we're looking at an Amazon Prime truck there and a FedEx truck heading out onto the main highway. So bringing those little details of giving us a bit of animation and giving some suitable, sort of airside and landside sort of content to be able to just bring a simulator experience to life. Because a sim experience, although we spend a lot of time in the cockpit, we go to all these amazing destinations, and especially if you've been there in real life, you look for buildings like this. You look for, you're not going to look for like an empty car park. An empty car park of a series of warehouses like this is going to look odd. So bringing it to life with appropriate trucks and appropriate things airside is really, really important. Now, as we coming up here now, we're of course coming up to the Boeing factory itself, and there's various different parts of the Boeing factory. Now, one of the cool things about this particular thing, and we're going to start seeing this as we get closer into the factory here, is that not only is the factory sort of externals modeled, we've also got the whole production line of the 737 MAX is actually fully modeled. So the fuselages do arrive from another factory, and they arrive by rail, and we can see one here. But the great part is that you can actually see the entire journey of a 737 MAX being made from its arrival on a rail car through to being unpacked and put onto a smaller transport here, which we're going to see one of them just in front of us here. You can actually go through and actually see them all being made. And it's that one just as the animation cycle just obviously is about to restart. You can actually follow that follow that production all the way through from beginning to end. Now, I won't spoil the mystery, as it were, by showing you every part, and I won't turn this into like a 40-minute review of actually sort of showing, every part of it. But needless to say, we actually have a train will arrive, with the fuselage on there. It goes down a spur line and it gets then unloaded onto the vehicle, which we saw, the one that just disappeared from us before. There it is. It's there now, waiting to receive its cargo of a 737 MAX fuselage from a train delivery, and which I think we can see coming down the line now. So everything from the first train delivery all the way through when the aircraft walks out, it gets towed out of the production line, are all modelled. So although this airport might seem to be a bit of an airport for GA, it really is so much more. So the full experience of actually building a 737 MAX is covered. So the fuselage gets brought in here, it gets lifted into this area here where avionics and interiors, some of the interiors and the radomes here will get fitted, and then from there it passes over onto the other side where it is mated with wings, tail plane, and then goes further along this actual section here, and eventually, as we can see, here goes one now, as it gets towed out and before being led into the paint shop. So I'm not going to spoil it by showing every element here, but if you're for the heavy metal flyers, if you've ever wondered and wanted to get a sort of like an abridged version of how your 737 MAX or your airliners came to be, this is going to be a pretty cool add-on for you, because you can actually see it and see it happen all the way, which is a really fun thing to see. It is all just on a timer, and it does happen 24 hours a day, because obviously the Boeing employees have got a few things to catch up on. But other than that, again, as always, GFS Design giving us some content outside the airport as well. So we've got various other buildings. The main sort of commercial, this is like a commercial district, and the nearby park have all been given to us in detail as well. By the way, this is the Hyatt Regency that we all stayed in, and again, it was hilarious because it was noticeably missing from the photogrammetry that's provided for Seattle, which was always hilarious, and I really couldn't believe that Microsoft didn't put that in, because I was like, that was really awkward. But anyway. Alright, so as we continue on past our factory here, seeing where our 737 MAX is being built, again, you can see a few of them in various different states of being built, with different pallets, and it's just that appropriate level of detail coming on pretty nicely. Then we've got another seaplane dock, which is another seaplane dock. Interestingly enough, the actual first aircraft that Boeing actually produced at their Renton factory was actually a seaplane. It was the Boeing PBB Sea Ranger was the first aircraft that was ever actually produced at the Boeing Renton factory. So the use of amphibious aircraft and the construction of amphibious aircraft here, it has a long history and continues to support for amphibious operations to this day. So that's the detail here. As I said, I think it's pretty damn cool. I think this captures a lot of the content of Renton, and I think overall it's really good. Now, of course, what do we have to do before we go up in our flight, though? I do want to quickly showcase for you, because I know some people like to see what things look like at night as well as during the day. So let's have a look and see what this airport looks like after dark. So after dark here, as you can see, the aircraft, so the airport lighting is fully done. So for all of the hangars, buildings, all have their internal lighting. Taxiways are all fully illuminated in accordance with the airport specifications, including all of the illuminated taxiway signs. Runway lighting is correct, and all of the work areas and ramp areas are also fully illuminated as well. Because, as I said, apparently in the Renton scenery, we are Boeing employees are working around the clock. All right, let's jump back into the daylight, and then let's go for a quick test flight. And we'll go for a quick test flight, give it a scenic flight here, have a check out of the airport. Alright, so we are back to daylight. Now let's head back to Rainier Flight Services and let's climb aboard our Cessna 172 and go for a bit of a flight here. We're going to take off on runway 16, so a bit of a hark back to my time here, both when I got to fly here in real life, but also to when my first video for Microsoft Flight Simulator where we actually did our test flight around Renton. So let's keep this one a little bit closer to just the airport. Alright, in our cockpit of our 172, let's do our pre-flight. Let's get everything up and running, get into the air. So let's see if I remember how to start a 172. Alright, so battery master is on, fuel tank is set to both, fuel is open, mixture full rich, fuel pump on. Oral warning, okay. Alright, fuel pump is on, beacon light on, clear prop, throttle cracked, magnetos set to both, and starter.
TOS system test, okay.
Okay, alternator is on, avionics bus 1 and 2 are on. Parking brake is set, do our run up. Alright, run up is good, nothing to worry about. Alright, taxi lights on, nav strobes are on, pitot heat is on. Alright, fuel is flowing good. We can turn our fuel pump off. Alright, time to release our, brakes on, apply disengage parking brake. And let's taxi out. I did think about flying an Optica for this review because the Optica does offer the better visibility, but there's just something because I've got memories attached to actually flying on 172 here, so it's like, no, we're flying the 172 here. Alright, set our flaps for takeoff. Trim is set for takeoff. Taxiing back down past the Kenmore Air Services area. We won't be doing any customs paperwork today. Alright, we'll line up in a hold here, threshold of the hold point of 16. Alright, do a check, nothing on final. As well as, and as you can, as we're sort of taxiing along here, you can also see and experience the fact that the undulations of the runway have been, and the taxiways have been modelled, including that dip, which I do remember. So yeah, so there is custom terrain mesh included for this airport. For all the runways, taxiways, and the surrounding area, this is custom terrain mesh that Geovesky Design has put in here as well for us. So you do get that experience of just what it's like on takeoff here. All right, so got everything set. Taxi lights off, landing lights on for the, because we're going to be staying in the pattern. All right, I believe we are good to go. All right, as my good friend Belgier would say, throttles up, brakes up, throttles down. Oh wait, hang on. Brakes off, throttles up. There we go. I think that's what it is. I probably got it wrong. I'm sure he'll correct me in the comments. All right, smoothly apply the power. Airspeed is alive. Smoothly into the air. Now, we won't fly a proper pattern altitude because otherwise you won't be able to see everything. But, you know, just flying by, we can sort of see at the window there that, you know, we do have custom buildings also outside the airport boundary as well to support that, as the signage, for example, that we saw at the start there. So all of those experiences and again, those little details that have been added in here by Geovesky Designs to actually help improve your immersion for actually flying around in Renton and experiencing it. And as I said, like, you know, for single runway ops, as I said, like, this airport is primarily, it's not serviced by any regular passenger services or anything like that. You know, it is purely GA, you know, so, you know, Kenmore Air is sort of the closest thing to sort of having, you know, regular services here, but they're not RPT. Air taxi services and just general aviation is what you find coming out of this airport, plus the Boeing transfer fleet. Now, what's kind of cool as well, and you know, the Boeing Factory there, I didn't mention before, the murals again. Like, you know, I remember seeing these murals and actually sort of being mesmerized by them when I sort of got to come here to Renton. So being able to see them again in the sim is just, it's a wonderful feeling, and it's something that that Microsoft Flight Simulator does, I think, more than any other sim, with the fact that, you know, it does help you, you know, see the world and explore the world, and then actually be able to see and experience so much of our world. And Geovesky Designs has done an incredibly detailed job of actually recreating, you know, Renton in how it, not, you know, in how it looks and how it feels, you know, with the fit out areas, the general busyness that you have with an airside area, both in terms of the factory, but also of the airport itself, capturing that sensation of that it, you know, it's a living, breathing airport. It's not just, you know, it's not just about accurately placed runways and taxiways. It's about the fact that airports are living, breathing entities, you know, made up of the people and the aircraft that service them. So seeing that come to life in this way is absolutely amazing. I'm loving the details coming through here. Like, you know, we've got the, and Boeing has such a huge impact on this airport because, you know, obviously, you know, having the Boeing factory next door and being the starting point of this journey of so many aircraft over the years, it really is although it is primarily a GA aircraft, I think this is going to be an airport that many of you who normally prefer flying the heavy metal, I think it'd be worth you sort of, I think it'd be worth picking up to be able to have an experience of, you know, this is where your 737 started life. Or if you're into the more vintage aircraft, this is where your 707 started its life and took its first flight from. So, you know, that next time you fly in a 737 MAX 7, 8, 9 or 10, then, you know that aircraft, its first flight was departing out of here at Renton. And this airfield also provided service for upgrade services for a number of 747s as well. So you can fly and land 73s and 74s in here, and maybe that might be something a bit worth challenging yourself on to come in and do that. And just getting a sensation of how big and how sprawling those factories are. Like, look at them. All right, as we configure ourselves for landing today. Now, I'm definitely a lot lower than normal traffic pattern altitude here. Extend our downwind a little bit. Yeah, probably, yeah, we're going to just, alright, so definitely going to be cutting the corner off a bit here, but let's do our base turn. Yeah, probably, again, I don't have a lot of negative things to say about this add-on, but the one thing I do notice, that other than the trees on a couple of the taxiways, is the PAPI lights. Now, as I said, from my memory at least, there was a full set of PAPI lights here, but I find that those are, I don't know whether they're not there or they're just very difficult to make out. So that's probably that, and a couple of areas where the trees need to be patched out is about the only negative things I have to say about this airport, because my recollection is there, about 90% recollection, that there should be a set of PAPIs here, and I just am not seeing them. Alright. Alright, there we go. A little bit of a long landing. Throttle idle. Nose up, nose down. There we go. We finished this review over on the at the other part of the GA field, the private owners section. Let's head over to that side. We didn't really check this side out much, so we can check that out as we give our final thoughts of this add-on. All right, let's clean up 172. Okay, taxi lights, landing lights off. Alright, there we go. Parked and nice and neatly parked up. Alright, taxi lights off. Parking brake is on. Brake's off. And mixture is fuel cut off. Magnetors are off. Alright, strobes, navs are off. Pitot heat is off. Nav buses 1 and 2 are off, and I need to disable that. I really do need to do. All right, alternator off, and battery master is disabled. Beacon light is off. There we go. All right, so now we've done a little circuit of the field here. Let's jump out and let's go through a final couple details, and let's give our final thoughts of this add-on today. Alright, so while we parked over on this the GA side here, as you can see, as I was talking about before, you've got a number of GA hangars over on this side, so the GA sheds, along with various appropriate detritus and plenty of spawn points for you to start your flights going as well. And we've got more heavy metal servicing over here as well. We can head down. Appropriately, again, placed detritus. It's just... overall, like this add-on is done really really well. Like a lot of stuff is blended in really really well, and hold up. Okay, I thought I recognized that livery as I brought the drone camera over. Right. Okay. Um. Hello, PMDG. What's up? That's rather interesting. I think if there was any doubt that PMDG would be bringing a 737 Max to us, I think that question just got answered. I kind of like that. Okay, this is something where I don't mind if you vary from. Okay, so in reality, this is another fit out bay for 737s when they're being fitted out for their first flights. I kind of like the fact that they've added in PMDG parking only. Okay. This is an Easter egg that's kind of interesting. Not that PMDG generally interests me, but I kind of like the fact that they've got a static one there and there is a parking space ready and waiting for you to spawn your PMDG 737 complete with service vehicles here when it gets released. Okay. That's kind of cool. I had no idea this was here. Oh, that's awesome! PMG and Geoesky Designs uniforms in the PMG Ops building. Okay, that is kind of cool. Okay, full props to that one. That's pretty cool. Okay. I didn't even know that was there, and that's awesome. So, okay. All right, as we head down the rest of the heavy metal here, let's give our final couple of thoughts. Okay, so what do I think? I think this is an amazing add-on, and I want to talk about why I sort of said at the start, I think that this is such an awesome add-on. And fundamentally, it's because there is so much depth to this add-on. Whether, yes, it's only a single runway ops GA airfield fundamentally, but there is so much more than that here. Like we have the Boeing Factory, and there would have been nothing to stop Geoesky Designs just simply putting the external building there and calling it a day. Instead, they've developed and worked so incredibly hard on this add-on by making not just the externals of the building look right, but also actually provide us with a bit of an insight into how that heavy metal gets built, and covering and bringing the airport to life with all those small little elements that help bring an airport to life, because airports aren't dead structures. They are alive. They are living, breathing environments, and bring them through with a few little Easter eggs here and there is just, there's so much detail going on at this airport. But again, I want to stress as well that it also shows Geoesky Design growing as a developer. As I said before, my experience with Geoesky Design has always been, incredible detail, but very heavy on frame rates. It is, they're killers on frame rates. But my experience, and I have stressed this is my experience, your mileage may vary, but Geoesky Design has started implementing a lot more tools and techniques and methods to actually be able to still deliver an incredible amount of detail to us, the flight sim community, but save us frame rates. So overall, I think this is a must-have add-on. I really fundamentally do, especially if you do enjoy any kind of flying in the Pacific Northwest. This is going to make a great base of operations for you, because being that it supports whether you want to fly biz jets, the heavy metal and amphibs or GA, there is a option available for you for this airport no matter what you want to fly. And again, if you're looking for options, and if you're primarily more into heavy metal, then this serves as a great way to get a bit of an insight, maybe a bit of a challenge for you to land in these smaller runways and take off and land in these smaller runways, but also be able to get a bit of an insight into how your aircraft came to be. So yeah, I'm absolutely going to recommend this. I think this is an amazing add-on. I really, really do. So there you have it, folks. That is my review of Renton Municipal Airport from Drzewiecki Designs, available now for Microsoft Flight Simulator from Orbx Direct or your favorite flight sim retailer. Available now. And with that, folks, that does now round out this review. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter and on Twitch. Just search NovaWing24. Alright, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.